On the computer. All right, all right, all right. So we are live on Facebook. Very good. All right, looking good. So hello, 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 everyone who is watching us. I am going to be checking my technology. Welcome to a little chit chat and chew. We're not quite in the lunch and learn, but we are going to have a conversation. This may be your lunch hour or just shortly thereafter. My name is Cavalyn Day. I am the Director of Operations and a coach here at the Well Counseling Group, and I have the pleasure of being joined by Mr. Mita Johnson. So we wanted to welcome you guys in, and we're just going to have a quick conversation about how to help our children be bully proof by making sure that we focus on improving their confidence and the skills that they have. So Dermita, I'm going to give you a moment to just introduce yourself, to tell us a little bit about who you are. I know some of our audience has already met you either because their children were a part of your anxiety support group, or maybe have seen you as you've been calling and speaking to clients. So give us a quick introduction about who you are.
Yes, as Cavalyn said, I am intern here at the Well. I've been with them for some months now, and it's been a very pleasant experience. I am working towards obtaining my MSW, and I have a little background with children. I've been working in child welfare for 9 years now, so it's definitely something I'm not a stranger to, and it is a passion of mine. And I'm very pleased to be here with you guys today.
Awesome. Awesome. So we are talking about how to bully-proof your child with confidence. And we're talking about this in part because next weekend, Dermita and I are hosting a workshop for girls aged 9 to 12, which y'all gonna love this title. We're calling this Contagious Confidence. So I don't know about you, but I know I need to make sure my confidence is contagious. But we especially have a heart for that teenage girl, because that middle age can be really challenging, where you start to, as you're changing and going through puberty and having those social interactions, it's really a time where kids can start to lose their confidence. And that makes them really susceptible to lots of things, one of which is bullying. So we have a few questions that have already been kind of sent in. So we're going to touch base on those today, but I will be checking the chat box. So you'll see me looking at the chat box. If you have questions while you're watching us live, or even while you're watching the recording, just go ahead and say hello in the comments and drop your question, and we will make sure that we touch base on those, okay? Those of you that are watching live in the Zoom room, we will have an opportunity if you want to unmute and chat. We are streaming through the Facebook page, and then we'll also make this recording available. So, Dermita, when you came to the Well, you really were very clear that you had a very specific heart for bullying prevention and working specifically with children. And I know you kind of alluded to described your background a little bit, that you have seen children in some very difficult families and some very difficult situations. So why was bullying a topic that you were specifically really concerned about and passionate about?
So as I stated, yes, Cavalry, you're absolutely right. I worked in a multitude of capacities in child welfare, and I was specifically assigned at one point to be a part of the team and then supervise a team for fatalities that occurred in Marion County. And some of these fatalities that I had to unfortunately work with were for children that are victims of suicide. And I noticed just that age becoming younger and younger, and I'm just trying to figure out what is going on. So a lot of it came from just changes in, I would say, the access to children, just social media, just growing how it is, and that target not, being able to close that door once I got home from school. And it's just that open opportunity for children to just keep being targeted and bothered by bullies. And it's just a growing passion for me.
Yeah. So we specifically decided, like, when we wanted to approach this, we didn't just want to talk about bullying prevention, because I know that, there's a couple different pieces of legislation that require that schools are talking about this. And we know that kids they start to tune things out, right, when you're having this conversation. But we decided to focus specifically on confidence, and specifically on girls between the ages of 9 and 12 with this particular workshop. Now, those of you that are watching this, if this is something that you want your child to experience and they're kind of outside that age range, please do let us know, because we're keeping our eyes and ears open to other ages that might need this. But for this group, we're definitely focused on that age. So, Demita, why is that middle age? You kind of said like kids are getting younger and younger. Why is that middle age so important?
So just statistically, around that third grade year, is really when kids start really observing, like, hey, this is where I'm starting to compare myself with other people. This is where I'm kind of starting to rate where I fit in at. And, during that time, they're trying to, once they kind of figure out if I'm not fitting in, that's where that confidence level, like I'm noticing I'm reading below the mark. I'm not as popular. I didn't chosen for this particular team or group. Around that age is where children, especially young girls, are starting to notice those things. And then even more, girls are starting to develop differently in their bodies as they go through puberty. And there's just a lot of changing during those ages.
Yeah, I think you're true. I think that's absolutely true. I know you are a mother of a daughter. I have daughters as well. And I think that middle age is like, I always call it the middle, the messy part, because things aren't really clear. Sometimes there's not clear lines. And I think you're absolutely correct, because when we start to kind of compare ourselves to other people, our perception sometimes is that other people have it easier, other people have it better. They are definitely more aware of each other. So when kids are real young, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, even sometimes 5 and 6 year olds, they are focused on me. It's all about me. But just developmentally, at that middle age, they start to become more aware of other people. And I think that does contribute to them really struggling with their confidence as they begin to think that other people have things differently. So how would a parent know? So there's, when we're talking about bullying, especially, there is just relational conflict, right? Which is just a natural part that can happen. There's kind of natural emotional discomfort when you have a conflict with your friends or when things don't quite go the way you want them to go. What are some of the signs that a parent, they're looking at their child and they're saying like, man, it's getting out of hand, or I'm really concerned? What are some of the things that parents should be kind of looking at, or knowing when it's time to maybe step in or try and get some additional support?
Yes. So naturally, we do want our children to be able to eventually handle some conflict on their own. But when you talk about this age range, they need some guidance. They need some, someone kind of watching over it, or to not just over their shoulder to tell them and dictate everything they need to do, but just to kind of watch out, how can I support you as you are going through this? Because like we said, the access to social media or things like that does play a role in it, but just being able to monitor, like, hey, the things that they used to want to do, they don't want to do anymore. You say, for instance, your daughter used to be very particular in wanting to cheer, and now, hey, I don't want to cheer anymore. Like, what made that change? Or, you notice that they're starting to skip out on some of their favorite snacks because someone has maybe said something about their body or shaming them, being more withdrawn where they're not wanting to, participate in family activities, just the more withdrawn or taken away from things at which they once showed some kind of interest in, because that means something about their confidence is changing. Because at that time, I wanted to do it. I thought it was great. Now someone's telling me I didn't meet the mark here. I didn't meet the mark because I'm not good at it. I didn't meet the mark because I don't look great. Just some of those things to look at.
Ooh, those are, you getting gems today. I hope y'all paying attention to these gems she's dropping, because this is, there's no book on how to become a parent. And when your kids get into that middle range, things get really hairy. She's giving you some really good information. One of the things I think, kind of to piggyback what you said, is what I've noticed even in my girls, when they are more reactive to you or your redirection, sometimes that shows a spot where they have kind of been sensitive, right? So if somebody were to punch your arm, you have a little bruise there. If you bump up against it, it's going to hurt again. So let's say somebody at school commented about their weight or their hair or something like that. And then you come behind and say like, oh, we need to do your hair this weekend or something like that. And they have a high reaction. That reactivity is sometimes a signal that like, hey, that's something I'm becoming sensitive about or something I'm hypersensitive about or hyper aware of. And that might be an indication like, I want to kind of dig around in there and see what else is going on. Sometimes, and we know as parents, sometimes you need somebody to kind of help you with that because they're like, they don't want to hear it from you, but then a family member or a friend or somebody else in the community, they're more open to that. So, we are here at the Well, love being a part of your village to help support you as you do the work that you do. We know sometimes you don't always have that same support from your immediate family, or, maybe people are just busy with their own lives. That's one of the great reasons why we're happy to be offering more of these workshops and lunch and learns and different activities so that we can be a bigger part of that as well. So let's dive back into talking specifically about confidence, okay? So when we're talking about those girls having more confidence, aside from it being like a protective factor because against bullying, because if I'm confident, then I'm less susceptible to you, in your opinion, because I'm, confident in myself. What are some other reasons why a parent might want to focus on confidence with their child? What are some other things to consider?
So I know sometimes with life being so busy, we might get that phone call home that says, hey, your daughter did this today and with something negative. And I think that those are the times when we make it very intentional to spend time focusing on, hey, let's do this, let's fix this, we did this wrong, where we can take an opportunity sometimes to kind of embrace something that they're doing well. Hey, you did this good. I'm very proud of you. So that it encourages them and empowers them. It shows them what their talents are so that they can strengthen those things, and it empowers them to strengthen things where they're weak. It says, hey, I've done this well. I know that I can do something else. And it pushes them to keep going so that they don't get in that funk of that, oh, I do everything wrong. This is when I get my attention. Now I'm getting attention because I'm doing something great.
Right.
I'm proud. My parent is proud of me. And no matter how old you get, those words, I'm proud of you, still feels great.
Yes,
I in my 30s, I still love to hear my parents say, I'm proud of you. That feels great. And it does motivate you to keep going and to continue to do great things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always say what we feed will grow. So if we want a child who is self-confident and they have self-esteem to go and achieve and do great things, then we want to feed that. And sometimes we don't know exactly how to do that, especially if we didn't grow up in a house where that was the norm, or we didn't grow up, or maybe we have in the past, maybe had some hardships that when we didn't get those things. This is one of those ways when you kind of focus specifically on something where you can really get it to grow and to see the roots of that. Now, as we wrap up, I do want to remind you, if you have any questions, I'm checking the chat box here. I think we must be doing good because I don't see any other questions. If you have any questions, feel free to drop this. If you're watching the recording, do me a favor and watch. If you're watching the recording on Facebook, just drop a comment that says replay so that we can make sure people get to see this. But feel free to ask questions in the comments because Dermita and I will be checking back in and we'll be able to respond as well. But what I wanted to do is, as we kind of wrap up, is come up with one thing that, as you've done your research and preparing for this workshop, is there one thing that you found, and this could be something from your experience as well, that, and I'm not trying to chime in if I can come up with anything also, but one thing that you found that parents can do to support their child having that healthy development, protecting them from bullying. What is like one kind of like key takeaway that you really want parents to remember?
I like parents to remember to turning what can be negative into a positive, not taken away from how a child feels, because it may be that my child is thin, my child is identifying that someone has said they are having weight gain or something of that nature, something about their personality, something about their appearance, just anything. And not taking that away from them, just kind of encouraging them to deal with it in a healthy manner, and not looking at things negatively hey, I know you said that you're going to be more health conscious. Together as a family, we're going to take a walk. So you're not taking
Mhm.
away from what they feel and what they want to change, but you're modeling that, and you're
Yeah.
able to kind of support them in where they see someone said something about me. I noticed this about me, but not so focus on what someone else says, but focus on more how they feel, because those feelings are real for them, and just kind of building on it and not seeing it as a negative.
Oh, that's such a good point, because honestly, I think um that really empowers them to see the power that they have, right? So one of the things that we notice with kids who are often victimized by bullying is that they feel powerless. They don't feel like they have anything that they can do. So by you saying like, hey, let's encourage them to do something in a proactive way, I think that really does empower them, which kind of leads into, I always quote my kid's pediatrician. Years and years ago, she told me with one of my older kids, like she was saying, like one of her favorite motto for parents is to give them chores and to give the kids things that they can do to show that they are confident in things, right? So whether it be washing the dishes or making dinner, every time we do things that we didn't think that we could do, or we experience things that we didn't know that we could experience and be successful, even if it was a challenge, is basically conditioning our brain to believe that we can do anything. So giving them an opportunity to do things, even if they kind of flub it a little bit, or if it's not quite perfect, but just really affirming that, I think that is a great point, and that's a great way to help build confidence, which ultimately does protect them from being bullied as well. All
Yeah.
right, so as we're getting ready to wrap up, I do not see any additional questions, but we are, again, like I said, more than happy to come back and answer anything. I do want to make sure that if you have a daughter age 9 to 12, next Saturday, which is the 29th, Dermita and I will be facilitating a small group for girls to have contagious confidence. Now, this is an in-person group in our office. So if you are looking for something for your daughter to do on a Saturday morning where she'll come back inspired and excited, this is a great activity. There is a very, very moderate cost. So it's only $25 for this event. We're going to give her a little snack. We're going to give her some activity, and she'll get some time with both of us. We do have some limited scholarships available. So if you need a scholarship, or if the cost is a problem, make sure that you reach out to us, admin at the Well Counseling Group, or you can call the phone number that'll be listed around this video wherever you're watching it. And we would love to have your daughter be a participant in Contagious Confidence, because we really do want to make sure that we are part of your village and helping you to raise confident girls to go out and be not only protected from bullying, but also a positive representation in our community as well. So thank you so much for joining us for this little brief chit chat and chew about how to increase confidence and make sure that we are bully proof in our kids. Dermita, any last final thoughts that you want to share?
No, I don't have anything at this time, and I just look forward to everyone coming out and spreading the word.
All right, you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you very soon.